The art of the one-step polish.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. Today we're going to do a one-step polish on this, and we've always told you if you're going to do a one-step polish, our gold waffle pad is the one to do it with, and that's what we're going to be doing.
But when you say we've always told you, this may actually be a first-time viewer.
Exactly.
So we are going to meet you where you're at. If you've never polished paint before, if you're a pro, we promise to deliver value. Ivan, when does one go for a one-step polish? What does a one-step polish actually achieve?
So it achieves gloss, it achieves a bit of correction, and it achieves normally what the customer wants. If you're a professional detailer, we tend to go after every little scratch and swirl and try to make the paint perfect. That's not necessarily what your customer is after. That's not necessarily what they want. So ask your customer, what do they see their car as? But as a hobbyist, if you're watching this channel and you're subscribed, hopefully you are. If you're not, hit the subscribe button. But at the same time, what it does, it's gonna bring the gloss back. It's gonna make you love your car again, and you're not removing too much paint. Because every time we polish a vehicle, we're removing clear coat. And clear coat can't be replaced other than adding clear coat again, which is not a cheap prospect.
No, it's not, and that's why when you see this hood, you're gonna realize it ain't perfect, but we are gonna boost the gloss here.
Right.
We're gonna achieve some moderate defect removal.
Yep.
This is just the easiest way to start polishing if you've never done it before, is with our dual action machine and our Yellow Waffle Pad.
Right, and this vehicle is daily driven. It's a fun car. It's a V6 powered MR2. Look that up. They never made them. This gentleman grafted in a minivan motor of all things. But nonetheless, from a Toyota Sienna, it fits in beautifully. We're gonna amp up the gloss. We're gonna make it easier to look at, easier to clean. There are scratches here that no polishing is gonna remove. They're down to the metal. There are touch-ups that have been done in the past that were questionable at best. This patina, if I can put it that way, that is on this is part of this vehicle's history. The vehicle is a 1991. It's 34 years old. It's not exactly a new vehicle. Looks great though.
It looks great, especially from 10 feet away.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with this touch-up, Ivan, but I know we just gotta accept it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But this vehicle sat in storage for a number of years, and it became part of the storage, meaning there were boxes on it. It acted as a shelf. So that is what we're up against. The customer does not expect it to be perfect. The customer does not expect to show winning paint out of it. They just want it easier to wash, and that's what we're gonna be doing here. We're gonna be polishing it and then ceramic coating. Nick, we have 126 microns here.
117?
Yeah, so that's good.
Is that a lot?
Not a lot, but
Because I'm used to the 3 to 5.
yeah,
I'm
and
used to
that headlight's been repainted. I can see it from here, so.
235. How
Yeah.
could you tell?
The color is different. The finish on the paint is different. It has dust nibs. It has fish eyes.
I see the nibs, like this little guy.
Yeah.
Is that a nib?
But the color's different. The texture is different. So it's obviously not factory paint.
So, as we mentioned,
Yeah.
you develop an eye for this stuff
Yeah.
over time.
Right. So you have to be careful what you're doing. And non-factory paint can, yes, he measured it at 200 microns. That means that it has the factory paint underneath. And now how much of that is primer, how much of that is paint, how much is clear coat on top of the factory paint? We don't know. So you have to be careful when you're polishing paint, because when you're polishing paint or clear coat, the paint system on the car, when you're polishing that, you are removing the paint. You're removing the clear coat. That's what we're doing. So let's get to polishing.
What speed do you polish on?
I like speed 2.
Question for you, Ivan.
Yep.
Traditionally, people are taught to polish in a 2x2 section.
Right.
You know, 2 feet this way, 2 feet that way. Don't go past your shoulders.
Right.
And so I kind of tried to do that here, and I see Ivan did the whole dang half of the hood. So how big should a polishing section be?
Whatever's comfortable for you. Now, I also moved as I was polishing. I didn't just stand in one place. So you want to move around, but yes, you shouldn't go really much wider than your shoulders. That's especially when you're using two hands on the polisher. But when you're using one hand, your reach is a lot further so you're not twisting. As long as you're not twisting your back when you're polishing, you're good.
Ivan, my pad, I mean, I'm thinking like, am I going over some plastic? Is that why I'm getting black on it? It's getting a little gungy.
Yeah, same as mine. It's literally the paint itself. So the paint probably had a sealant or something on it before. We're removing that sealant, and that's what we're seeing here.
So it's not that this is single stage paint or anything?
No, it's not single stage paint.
Should people freak out if their pad gets dirty?
No, it's normal.
And if they clean it and it doesn't get clean, it's just stained?
It's stained, but we're still cleaning the pad. So there's no clear coat residue left over. There's staining. That staining, we can clean it out later, but as we're going along like this, not a problem. When you're all done polishing and your pad is looking like this and the rinseless wash isn't cutting it because it's stained, bit of all clean, diluted 15:1. In the spray bottle it comes pre-diluted. I'm gonna put a little more than I normally would in the pad. We'll let it dwell for a second, massage it in. And then clean the pad as normal, which means a bit of rinseless wash, and run it against the pad washer. We have a clean pad, a bit of staining, but pad is ready to use again.
Ivan, this polisher comes with a bunch of speeds.
Yes.
And a lot of people are probably tempted to crank it up to speed 4, maybe speed 5. Why would you advise them? Not because you're the old, cautious guy who's done it for a while. Give me a reason that I really want to polish on low speeds. Because a lot of people think, it's not fun to do it. I don't want to do it Ivan's way. I want to crank it up. I want to be strong. I want to be, and they're like, again, I'm basically saying that's the way I used to think. So sell me on speed 2 or 3.
Better results.
Okay, that's what it is.
It's easier to do.
I now do it
less
'cause
stress.
it's easier on my, it's less vibration, but you're getting better results and.
Yeah. Better results, less stress, easier on the paint, easier on you, and just a lot more fun. It's quieter too. You have to remember, we're dealing with plastic here. Clear coat is a plastic. And if you get plastic too hot, it melts, it gets soft. That way the abrasives aren't doing their job.
So I see what looks like some water spots back here, and my polish isn't moving through them at all. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I am gonna clean my pad now and see if fresh abrasives with speed 2, the same way I've been polishing, will remove what looks like some residue left over. I don't think it was us. It looks like it's been there for a while.
No, that's etched in, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see it on your side, and I see it maybe on my side. So if you're ever in need of a little bit more cut, I always suggest you clean your pad. If I'm gonna go tight on a car with old paint, I like a rotary.
Yeah.
But I feel really comfortable doing edge work with a rotary.
Yeah.
Because the DA, spins and oscillates, it feels very random to me, like it's kicking off in different directions, and I'm just afraid around edges a little bit.
So if you look at the pad when it's spinning, you'll see what looks like a solid pad and a ghost of a pad.
Yeah, the ghost of the pad.
Right.
The outside, right?
Use the ghost of the pad as your outside, and you'll never hit anything.
All right. Show me how you get into here without causing any danger, because that's where I'd feel comfortable with a cone on an extension or something, like a really tiny cone.
Use the waffle pad to your advantage.
So this waffle kicking up against this isn't going to do anything, because I feel like I've done that before where I accidentally dinged into a vehicle.
Up there, you don't want to do that. But up here, the pad ends here and it's going up the edge. So going up the edge,
and then what did you do into here? I saw, okay. It's kissing along this edge a little bit, yeah?
no,
No?
all it takes is practice.
And just like that, it's done. All right.
This MR2 is lowered, and being lowered, the front bumper is sacrificed a little bit a few times, but we'll get it as good as we can. This bottom here is all scratched up. That's to be expected. The vehicle is quite low, actually. Now we'll have another vehicle on the channel that is probably the lowest vehicle we've ever had in here. Had problems getting over the sidewalk without scraping. So you'll see that in a future video. And if you're subscribed, then you won't have to worry about it, especially if you hit that notification bell. You will know exactly when we're releasing videos. Right here, you can see that this fender has been repainted, and all these little sanding marks are because of that.
Oh, I wondered about that. I saw sanding marks everywhere, and I'm like, this has to be a repaint.
Yeah, so that's repainted.
When you see it has been repainted, what do you do in terms of technique?
Be very cautious.
So just proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to tell you. I really like Speed 2 on our dual action machines. If nothing else, it feels safe. I don't feel like I'm removing the appearance of scratches all the time when they're really deep. It's not about that, but I do get good defect removal, but I just feel safe, Ivan. I'm like, I could put this in the hands of anybody with Speed 2 as their sort of North Star.
Yeah.
No pressure, continually cleaning your pad, keeping it damp but not wet.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have safe, glossy paint as a result.
Exactly. And something like this, some people will look at that and go, oh, I can polish more to get that out. That is underneath the paint and underneath the clear coat. That's in the primer or in the body filler. And no amount of polishing is going to get rid of that until you get rid all the way down to that paint or all the way down to that primer. So there's nothing we can do in terms of polishing. Now, we've made it glossy, we've made it shiny, and unless you're up close like this, you won't see it. Back here, 3 or 4 feet away, looks perfect. And outside, will be even better.
So, final thoughts on one-step polishing, Ivan. More pressure is not better.
More pressure is definitely not better. More speed is not better. The less pressure you exert, the lower the speed, the better the paint responds to what you're doing. It's like if I were to say, Nick, do you mind polishing that, please? As opposed to, hey, Nick, polish that. Which one do you think is going to get a better reaction?
I mean, one will, it's funny, in the short term, the shouting probably works.
Yeah.
Like it could swell the paint up with too much heat and it probably looks good.
Yeah.
What happens if we swell the paint up with too much heat and too much pressure, Ivan? Sometimes people think the scratches are gone.
Right, and you've actually just masked the scratch. I like to call it the Botox effect. Now, the gold standard does not contain a lot of solvent, so it's not a problem. But if you're using a solvent or a solvent-rich polish, and there's a lot of them out there, and it's not a bad thing.
Right, people are gonna use what they're gonna use. Like,
Yeah.
they may stop here for education, and they may go to the next stop and find something else.
Right.
Whatever, do what's fun, right?
Right, but if you have a solvent-rich polish or compound that you're exerting a lot of pressure and a lot of speed, and you're creating heat, what happens when you create heat, you swell that paint, and you sort of open up the pores. When you open up the pores, the solvents are very, very small. They go in there and they basically act like Botox. So they keep it in that swollen state. As the solvents evaporate, they go away. And the best way of explaining this is go to a used car dealer. They usually have some shiny black vehicle up on a step. You know, top the other ones, and you know that vehicle isn't moving too much because it's up on that step. The first day they put it out there, it looks spectacular. It looks great because they just finished polishing it. A week goes by, 2 weeks go by, you start seeing buffer trails, you start seeing it being hazy. That's because that solvent in the sunlight and in the rain is being taken out of the paint. The paint can now go back down. Now, we purposely swell paint. That is with our adhesion promoter polish, but we have a much different result because of it.
Oh my gosh. So we're gonna be talking about adhesion promoter polish in a different video.
Right.
If that video isn't out yet, Ivan, do you want to tease them with another video about app? Because I don't want to be swelling paint.
No, but sometimes you do, and here's why.